Hi, it's Martin here. Hope you're doing well. I know the coronavirus has impacted everybody in a variety of different ways, and I know for many it's the economic effects of this is pretty far-reaching. And I'd like to take a moment to talk about how I might be able to help you, and more importantly, I want to give you some clarity on some of the things I'm hearing that might be a little misreported, specifically as it relates to a mortgage forbearance. The news media makes it sound like you can just contact your mortgage lender and have your mortgage payments, dismissed or paused or stopped for some period of time. Okay. The way that a forbearance works is it doesn't give you mortgage forgiveness. Okay. You still have to make that payment. It's just a matter of how that payment is going to be made up at a later time. So if you've lost your income, maybe you've gone on unemployment because you've been laid off or something to that effect, and you know that once the economy comes back, you'll be able to return to your work, a forbearance may be something worth looking at. Okay, but what I want you to understand is that different lenders are structuring their forbearances in different ways, and it could put you into a deeper hole if you're not well prepared to address it. So let me give you some insight. When you ask for a forbearance, the banks may suspend the payments for a few months, 3 months, maybe 6 months. I don't know if it'll go longer, but let's just say you have a 6-month forbearance. Now you owe 6 months of mortgage payments. How that payment is being made up when we come out of this pandemic is the question that needs to be understood. Because if they're going to add it to the back end of your loan, that might be one solution. Or some banks may want to have some kind of a balloon payment, or they may want to take that payment that was in arrears, so to speak, and spread that out over 12 months or 36 months or 60 months, which in a sense is going to raise your mortgage payment until you get caught up. Okay? So you need to understand what exactly is being offered and how it's being structured. The other component that I want you to think about is the issue of property taxes and insurance. For a lot of people, their mortgage payment includes taxes and insurance. So if you get released from making that monthly mortgage payment, there's still an obligation of taxes and insurance. Now, it's entirely possible that your mortgage lender will still make that payment for you. They're going to go ahead and write the check for taxes and insurance. But now that's another item that needs to be added into the overall catch-up of your payments once you do return into payment. And here's my biggest concern is that a lot of people have equity in their properties because we've seen a lot of appreciation over the years. So unlike the last economic down cycle back in 2007 to 2009, in that era, we saw people losing homes because they were upside down. That's not the case now. Now we're seeing people struggling to make the actual housing payment. And if they take a forbearance and the loan comes out of forbearance and they don't have the financial means to keep up with the new payments, you can find yourself looking at a foreclosure even though you might be sitting on $100,000 of equity. Okay? So I want you to understand that. And if you're thinking that the banks can't foreclose on you, you're right. They can't do that right now. But when the loans return back to full service and you have the agreement that your new mortgage payment is going to have this bumped up payment to cover the forbearance that you were granted 3 months ago, at that point, the banks will be able to resume a foreclosure. So I want you to think a year down the road, 2 years down the road, and realize if you take a forbearance now, you're going to have to catch up in the future. There's one other component that a lot of people don't know about, and that is that Fannie Mae just came out with an announcement that if you take a forbearance or do any kind of a loan modification right now, you will be ineligible to refinance your home for 12 months. So if you're thinking that if I take a forbearance now and I have some catch-up payments to make and that payment is too high, I'll just refi and get a new loan, that's not going to work either because you're going to have a 12-month moratorium on your ability to get a new loan. So there's a lot to consider if you're doing a forbearance. And I want to be real clear to point out that the servicing phone lines are backed up. I have another client that called me today who was trying to get a hold of her mortgage company, and I won't mention the names, but she says that the automated system said there was a 35-hour waiting period for her call to go through. Not 35 minutes, 35 hours. So it's like over a day. Everybody's calling because everybody thinks that it's a time to go out there and get pardon my expression here, but a free ride for a few months. That's not the case. Look, if you're dealing with a hardship and you need a forbearance, explore those options. But don't be opportunistic, or don't think that this is an opportunity to skip your mortgage payment, because that's not the way that this is structured, okay? One way that I can help you, though, is for those of you who are not in a position where you've lost your job and maybe you are feeling the pinch, or maybe one member of the household has been furloughed or something like that, and that is to restructure your overall debt. With interest rates being as low as they are, we can look at what kind of equity you have in your house, what kind of monthly payments you are, and look at your personal financial budget and help you come up with a new game plan to give you some financial relief during this period of time. So there are options. I'm always here to answer your questions. If you have any specific things you want me to look at, please, let me know. But I just want to make sure that people understand that a mortgage forbearance isn't for everyone. And also, if you're a renter and you're thinking about just dismissing your rent, the same applies to you. That rent is eventually going to be owed to the landlord. It's just about how it will be structured and how it will be owed. And while they can't evict you right now, and they're not supposed to report it to the agencies, that doesn't mean that they won't be able to do so in the future if you don't make whole on your agreement, okay? I hope you found this useful. Please call me or email me if you have any specific questions, and feel free to share with anybody else who you think might be able to benefit from this information. Be safe, be healthy, and until next time, thank you. Bye-bye.